she was a banger.
Don't you worry, don't you cry. I can promise it gets better in time. Keep your head up, keep your shine. Hold my hand up, it gets better in time.
Hi guys, I'm Ree. Welcome back to my channel. If you are new, babe, hit the subscribe button because you're gonna want to stay. If you're returning, hey besties, it's so good to see you guys again. We are back with another quick, easy, and delicious meal prep. I'm hitting you guys with 3 recipes today. To kick off the meal prep, we're starting off with a chocolatey protein granola. You guys know how I love Nature Valley's dark chocolate oat granola, and I was like, you know what? I have all the stuff in my house to make it, so let's stop spending money. So that's first up on our list. Secondly, I'm hitting you with kind of a different dish for me per se. It's a chicken thigh and corn skillet packed with bright and fresh flavors that your family is sure to love. And then finally, some very basic salmon kind of teriyaki bowls with cucumbers, sticky rice, and of course a glazed salmon that is to die for. All of my recipes will be linked down below in the description box. It literally says featured recipes. I will also be including the macros on the recipe document per serving, so they will not be on the actual screen, but you will see it down below. If you click that link, each recipe will have its own macro breakdown, and I think that's the best way to do it. That way everybody can watch the full video without being triggered with calories and macros. If you care about those things, great, you can have it down below as a resource. But if you don't care about those things, or if you're recovering from eating disorders or anxiety around food, I want you to be able to enjoy this video without the pressure of having to skip through certain parts. You guys can pause here to read my disclaimer. You guys already know the drill. And without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into this meal prep. Lately, I have been in my granola bag, and I know the last meal prep I made a cinnamon, almond, vanilla, super basic granola, but this time I'm making a protein granola because y'all know how I love the Nature Valley dark chocolate granola. Like, that's my jam, but I have all the stuff in my house to make it, so we're gonna make it. So all you need is some oats, some chocolate protein powder, almonds, chia seeds, vanilla, honey, and a little bit of dark cocoa. This recipe does call for 1 egg white, which I thought was kind of weird, but you know what? It worked. I'm not going to question it. And you're going to put all of that into a bowl, mix it up till it's really well combined. And I mean, you really got to mix for a little bit because it's like more dry ingredients than there are wet ingredients. So you really want to make sure that everything is getting coated. It definitely took me a little bit of time, probably around like 6 minutes to make sure that everything was good. But y'all, it is so worth it. Once it's all good and combined, then you're going to go ahead and line a baking sheet with some parchment paper and then pour the granola mixture on top, because who wants to do all this work for all of it to just stay stuck to the pan? Not me. Yeah, it's a no for me. And then you want to make sure that you spread it out in an even layer, but make sure that you keep the mixture together so that it clumps up really good, but try to get it as like flat as possible. Do it better than me. This was, you know, I be trying. I just be trying to get out of the kitchen at this point. But yeah, once it's in an even layer, spread it out. Make sure that you use pretty much all the surface area of the pan because you want it to be in like a thin, crispy layer when it comes out of the oven. And then you're gonna bake it at 350 degrees. I can't really remember just thinking about it offhand, but the recipe, you know, will be down below. Okay, my granola baked, and I allowed it to sit for actually an hour before I started crumbling it. And this one crumbled better than my last one. You guys, it was literally so good. I just popped it in these cute little glass and bamboo containers that I keep my oats and stuff in my pantry, and it held up so good all week. My favorite way to have this granola this past week, because Rachel is coming and the cravings are there, so I've just been piling it high in a bowl with some Fairlife chocolate milk and chef's kiss. All right, next up, we are making chicken thighs. I don't think I've ever featured a chicken thigh on my page, on my channel thus far, but y'all gonna get one today. So I have 4 pretty good sized chicken thighs. You can use chicken breast, you can use whatever protein you want, but this is my protein of choice. It's a little bit higher in fat, but they taste good to me. So you're just gonna go ahead, wash them and pat them dry. Please wash your chicken, you guys. Oh my gosh. Please wash it. And then pat it dry. And then I'm just going to season with the following seasonings. Actually, I'm not even going to list them. You can look at the recipe down below because that's why I write them out. And then I use a little bit of olive oil. You don't have to use it. I just feel like it makes it more juicy and moist. And then I use my hands to rub in my seasonings, but feel free to wear some gloves. Just, I don't care. Do what you got to do. And then we're going to go ahead and sear them in a cast iron skillet. I'm sure that you could sear them in another kind of skillet, but I feel like the crust that I get and the golden brown color that I got in this chicken is only really able to be done in a cast iron. But you know what? Do with what you got. And I'm just gonna go ahead and let it sit for probably 5 minutes skin side down, or until it smells like my seasonings are burning, because that also is a thing too. Then moving on, we are using fresh corn, which I just boiled, and I'm going to cut off the kernels. You can use frozen corn, you can use canned corn, but I wanted to just, you know, be a little extra today and boil some corn and then cut it off the cob myself. And let me tell you, this was a task. Kernels were everywhere, so be prepared to have your broom handy, but I promise the taste is worth it. Now moving back to my chicken, I smelled the seasoning, so I wanted to go ahead and give them a flip. And then I cooked the chicken for about another 8 minutes on the other side. I just want to make sure that the chicken is done. And if that wasn't enough, I'm not going to show you on here, but I popped it in the oven for about 10 minutes at 350 degrees because I just don't play about pink chicken, okay? It's just a no. We don't eat it. We don't eat it over here. Anyways, back to my corn. Again, take it kind of slow. You want to make sure that the corn stalk is stable. That way it doesn't slip and you have an accident, because we don't want that. It didn't take too long, but once it was done, I was glad. Then my cheese of choice is cotija cheese. I think that's how you say it. It's really crumbly, really, really good. It kind of reminds me of feta, so you can actually use feta if you wanted to, but cotija was the traditional, so I'm using that. And I just basically crumbled up half of a block or wheel, because it's a circle, right? Yeah, a wheel. Then I'm gonna go ahead and chop about half a cup of cilantro. I don't know why I've been in my cilantro bag lately too, but I like her a little bit. You can omit it or you can use parsley. I like it just for the green color realistically, but the flavor was all right too. Not too overwhelming. Then we're gonna combine the corn, the cotija cheese, cilantro, and seasonings in a bowl with a little bit of lime juice. And we're gonna give it a really, really good mix and set it aside. Now that my corn mixture is all combined, I removed the chicken thighs from the cast iron skillet and set them on a plate. And then I just added half of the corn mixture into the pan with all of the chicken juices. And I'm just going to mix it in so that everything is very flavorful, well combined, you know, the usual. And then I'm gonna submerge the chicken thighs back on top, nestle them into that corn mixture, and then I'm gonna dress it with a little bit of lime juice. And that's basically the skillet. The way I served it up is over a bed of romaine, but you won't see it in the next clip because I actually didn't have romaine the day that I filmed this, but every other day I had romaine lettuce. So just trust me on that. But I'm just gonna pile high the corn from the skillet and then top it with the chicken and then a little bit of the cold corn mixture. And then I just served it with the only green vegetable I had in the house, which was some cucumbers and a little bit of tahini on top. And y'all, a banger. All right, lastly, we are making some I don't really know what we're gonna call this. We're gonna call it a salmon bowl, kind of. Anyway, call it what you want. We got salmon, we got rice, we got cucumbers, we got the whole shebang. So I'm going to sear skin side down some salmon that I washed and patted dry. Season with your seasonings of choice. These are just the ones that I use. And then you want to make sure that you sear it so that the skin is really good and crispy. Moving on to my sauce, I'm going to combine soy sauce, sriracha, honey, garlic, and ginger, and I'm going to give it a really, really good mix. My ginger was frozen, so forgive it, but it will heat up when I heat up the sauce. Now it's time to flip the salmon, and as you can see, it's got some really good color and it's really, really crispy. That is what you want to see. I always feel like I burn my pans, but I swear the food doesn't taste burnt. Then we're taking the shortcuts because, you know, one thing over here is that I'm not cooking rice. If it comes pre-made, I'm gonna take the shortcut. So I'm using this pre-made sticky rice or sushi rice, and I'm popping it in the microwave just as the directions tell me to, and microwaving for about a minute. Then we are going to heat up the sauce because I want it to kind of be a glaze. I don't want it to be super runny. So I just allowed the mixture to sit on the stove for about 10, maybe like 11 or 12 or 15 or 1,000, just kidding, 10 to 15 minutes so that it reduced to about half. And then I went ahead and spooned it over my salmon and just allowed it to do its thing. Now it's time for my favorite part, assembly. So we have some cucumbers, of course the rice, and then the salmon. And then I'm gonna top all of the servings of rice with the furikake seasoning that I got from Trader Joe's. Super good. It's got like seaweed, 2 kinds of sesame seeds, some salt. I really like it a lot. And then I'm gonna top my salmon with some green onion. And y'all, this is she's it. Guys, so that is going to conclude this week's meal prep. Definitely try these recipes and circle back to this video and let me know which one was your favorite besides the protein granola, because she was chef's kiss. You know, if it's chocolate, it's for me. The chicken thigh and corn dish was my absolute fave. It really surprised me how much I really enjoyed it, and I'm definitely going to cycle back to this in my meal plan because she was a banger. All right, well, I'm gonna leave you guys off here. Thank you guys so much for sticking around for this video. If you enjoyed it, please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Also, be sure to turn on your post notifications. That way you can be notified every time your girl drops a new video. And until next time, babes, I'll see you on my next.